Well, I tell you what, so much shit is happening right now. Whole damn world gone batshit crazy, it feels like. Something I can't get over, though, is the fucking sea life. I'm not even talking about SeaWorld anymore, right? I'm talking about just sea life in general. Weird shit is going on. When I was down in Florida, there was not one, there was not two, there were 3 fucking shark attacks. Do you know how rare it is for a shark attack to happen, let alone 3? It's fucking insane. And then not necessarily in Florida, but different places. Pods of whales are washing up onto the fucking shore. Rescuers are successfully getting them back into the deep ocean where they can swim away. And then they are scared and swimming back up on the shore. Same thing's going on with sharks coming up on the shore. Not to mention the anglerfishes that have been popping up. Do you know how deep an anglerfish lives in the fucking ocean? It is damn near impossible for it to end up on the surface. Even if it is dead and floats up, it is so far down that something else is going to eat it. But while I was down in Florida, I noticed that the waves were breaking a really weird way. I lived in Connecticut for a while, so I know how the ocean acts a little bit, but not, I'm not an expert, but I know enough to know when something looks fucking weird. And while we were down in the beaches in Florida, the waves kept breaking apart, like something was splitting in between them. Now, first, I got excited. I was like, oh shit, there's some fucking fishes. No, it was not fish. Every time I swam over there, it was a fucking wave. After the shark attacks happened, I was like, okay, well, we're not playing that game no more. But besides a fish, the only other thing that I know that could split a fucking wave like that would be either a vibration or a very large sound that happens under the water. So, of course, I started researching. And I found something. What the goddamn hell am I looking at? Apparently, a mass larger than Texas has been spotted off of the coast of Africa, not with eyeballs, but with technology. If you know anything about heat signatures, just the colors on that is fucking insane. A lot of people are saying they think it's Leviathan. I appreciate the creativity. However, we're missing a couple of things. Leviathan is 1, serpent-esque, and 2, a female. I don't think that that's Leviathan. If you look at scans of underwater turtles, it kind of looks like the shape of a turtle. However, it's not quite right. Something that it does kind of look like, though, is a round sub. You know exactly what I'm talking about. A submarine. Submarine the size of Texas can do a lot of damage and hold a lot of people. And would produce a crazy fucking heat signature. Something else you rarely find in nature, if at all, are straight lines and perfect circles. That may not be a perfect circle, but there are vibrations radiating off of that thing that are perfect lines, which contradicts nature itself. I don't think that that is fucking natural. I think that that is something man-made. And I think that the vibrations that it's putting out has something to do with all of the critters that are freaking the fuck out in the ocean right now. Remember, vibrations travel different in water, but they travel even more different in salt water. So does sound. I'm still confused as to why nobody has tried to find out what that is yet, though. If someone wants to pay for my fucking plane ticket and passport, that'll be the next place I go to sniff out. I came across a really interesting picture this morning, and it sent me down a rabbit hole that was very interesting. Let me show you the picture. Reading together now. The Brazilian tribe members had never heard of aliens before. They did not understand, but when they were shown a picture of an alien gray, they recognized it immediately. They said that is Mancunawabu, referring to ant people. And ant people is something I know quite a bit about. I've had a theory for a very long time that the extraterrestrials that we are looking for are not extraterrestrial at all. They're interrestrial. And we're going to talk about it right fucking now. Small panic. Now, when I first saw this picture, I knew I had to do some research, right? Because the source seemed to be, trust me, bro. And I did not, in fact, trust a bro, so I did research. This did happen, though. And of course, it happened on a fucking podcast. This is the channel, and this is the name of the episode. And I am sorry to burst your bubble, but it is all in Portuguese. You can get lucky and try to do the translation. It's a hit and a miss. Do it at your own risk. But about the 3-minute mark is when they start talking about aliens. I don't think Mancunawabu is the name that's used for them in the podcast, but the man genuinely recognizes the photo and has a reaction that's basically akin to, yeah, that's Paul. He knew exactly what they were talking about. And then he starts describing a legend from his people, which essentially is the same across a bunch of other cultures, about ant people that live underground, that only speak with the elders, and they come up when civilization needs them. Are we talking about Ant-Man? No, we are not. We are talking about, specifically, it seems, grays. But this legend is very similar to other legends, and I wrote them down here. This is not an all-encompassing list. This is just examples of other places that you can find these legends. And the list is as follows. The Australian Aboriginal people. Up next on our list, we have the Hopi, Navajo, Cree, Anasazi, Apache, and Anishinaabe people. Mayans, Aztecs, and it seems as though the Book of Enoch also describes these ant people as well. Now, it seems as though there are 3 different types of ant people, and the type of ant people determines where it's going to live. First type lives in the ocean, second type lives near volcanoes, and the third live in mountains. All of these stories are interconnected in the details. They all share details that seems impossible for each other to know. And then we have some cultures where their story of creation starts underground. But they're all ant people. They all are described as looking like the Greys. They all live underground, and they all come to the surface when civilization needs them most. Again, do I think that the word that was used in that picture is correct? Not necessarily. Do I believe the stories that are told are correct? There are too many details shared by too many people across a vast amount of land and sea for something, if not just a little tidbit of truth, to be real. All of these cultures say the same thing too. If you speak to the earth will speak back, or if you speak to the earth, it will help you. Sound moves very differently through ground. What if when you speak to the earth, you're not speaking to the earth, you're speaking to them, and they can hear you because their ears are built different? What if that ocean we just discovered under the crust is their water supply? I don't know. Lots of thoughts. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye. My Roman Empire is the Irish potato famine. I think about this at least twice a day. So we're gonna talk about it right fucking now. Small panic. So in case you're unaware, 1800 Ireland, there's something that happened called the potato famine. The surface level of the story is that there was a disease that was going around infecting crops. Specifically, it was a potato plant disease called late blight. It was caused by moldy water. And the surface story goes that this disease infected the crops, killed off a large number of them, and that is what killed over 1 million Irish people. Spoiler alert, that's not what fucking happened. I'm gonna tell you what fucking happened, and it's a lot more sinister. The blatant facts of the matter is that Britain was being fucking greedy and tried to kill them. You see, when England stepped foot in Ireland, they wanted the land. They wanted the farms. They wanted the crops. So slowly, over the course of time, Irish people were killed for their farms, and these farms were gifted to Englishmen. Anybody that had a large plot of land, they could either get the fuck out and let an Englishman have it, or they could be killed and let an Englishman have it. Literally, they just came in and said, nope, that's mine. But that's not the only thing. As this continuously happened over the course of years, exports also started going out of Ireland as well, specifically food and crops. Eventually, what happened was there was too much export, not enough import, and not enough local farms to feed people. What did Britain do? Same thing Britain always fucking does. They said, fuck you, I'm rich, I'm a politician, and I'm fucking hungry, I'm just gonna keep taking the fucking food. So even with the famine happening, they still continued to export food. That's what killed over 1 million people. Rich fucking politicians taking what they wanted. Or royalty, I don't give a fuck, they're all politicians to me. But it devastates me, because everybody learns about this during school, and they learn the reason behind it was potatoes. It was never the potatoes, baby. It's been the same evil that it's always been. And that would be rich people in power, hiya. Eat the rich! Fourth dimensional beings cast a 3-dimensional shadow on Earth, and I can prove it scientifically, bitch. Small penny. This specific thought woke me up out of a dead melatonin sleep. I had taken 3 or 4 gummies and it still woke me up. Now, we're gonna start talking about it. Stay with me, focus. Don't laugh at me, but what got me thinking about this was a Bill Cipher edit. If you don't know who Bill Cipher is, he's a character from Gravity Falls. He is a 3-dimensional being born in a 2-dimensional world. His story, I think, is one of the most well-written plots of our lifetime. Never seen the show, love the character. But it got me thinking. A dimensional creature will always cast a shadow on the dimension below it. If you are a 2D creature, like Bill Cipher's family, you would cast a 1D shadow. If you are a 3D creature, like me and you, even though I am 3D, my shadow here is still 2D. Okay, so just to surmise, dimensional beings will cast a shadow on the dimension below it. And since me and you are 3-dimensional creatures, our shadows are 2-dimensional. So, a 4th dimensional creature would cast a 3-dimensional shadow. Well, Fox, what the fuck does that mean? What the hell does a three-dimensional shadow look like? The Hat Man. Shadow people. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I think you're picking it up. If a four-dimensional creature, assuming that the fourth dimension that we are talking about is time and space, were to cast a shadow in the dimension below it, it would be a three-dimensional shadow. Because when you go up a dimension, so does your shadow. Shadow people, the Hat Men, whatever you want to call them, are not entities themselves. That's why they never interact. That's why they just sit and watch. See, I can do all kinds of things with my shadow, but it cannot interact. Shadow beings can't interact because they're a lower dimensional representation of a higher dimensional being. Hi, hello. I was just about to change the brakes on the Katie. However, my comment section is exploding with questions on the Shadow Man video. So I thought I would make a quick video to kind of explain my thinking a little bit and to answer the most common questions on that video. Small panic. To address the time and space comment when referencing the fourth dimension, I genuinely believe that 4D beings would be able to move through time like we move through space. And the reason for this is simple. Something has to separate the dimensions. Just like a piece of paper or a shine of light separates 2D objects and is 100% beyond their control. In theory, we would have to have something beyond our control in order to lock us off from another dimension. The one thing that nobody has any control over is time. And to the people that want to argue that time is a man-made construct, tell that to your wrinkles in 30 years. It's not a man-made construct. We just keep track of it. Seemingly wrongly, because the Gregorian calendar seems absolutely fucked. But still, even with calendars and clocks taken out of the picture, time will pass by the phases of the moon and by you aging. Now, for people saying that they can truly interact with their shadow, I'm going to offer a counter-argument. Not saying you're wrong, however, you are confusing a one-sided interaction with a true interaction. And I'll prove it right now. Here we have a gorgeous sunrise, and here we have a shadow. Shadow, I want to marry you. Please take this ring as a token of my love. Ta-da! The shadow will never pick up the ring and never accept my proposal because 2D things cannot interact with 3D things like we can because there is something separating them from us. For our shadows, they exist within the confines of light. However, I saw another question that was brilliantly worded on my video. And the question was, why can we see the shadow people at night when there isn't a light source? I love it. Whoever first asked that question, thank you. And to answer that question, I'm not done with the theory yet. However, I personally believe that their shadows don't necessarily have anything to do with light and everything to do with energy. And the reason for this is simple again. When looking at different dimensions, we don't know what they have and what they experience. For all we know, the fourth dimension and up could be dimensions of darkness. However, in science, there is one thing that cannot be created and not be destroyed. It is just dispersed and concentrated. And that, my friend, would be energy. The only thing safe to assume is up there, because it cannot be created or destroyed by anything, is energy. And that is why I think that their shadows are dependent on energy more so than light. I do apologize about the proving scientifically bit. I ripped that off from a TV show because I thought it was funny. And the joke of that video was the shadow, my shadow, was the scientific evidence. Sometimes my jokes don't land, it's fine. However, to the ones saying that I need to summon a shadow person in order to prove my scientific thesis or hypothesis correct, you are also correct. Somebody please teach me how to summon a demon so I can prove my hypothesis correct. So I've just been sitting here in my garage, progressively watching this storm get worse and freaking myself fucking out. Research puts my mind at ease, so I thought that's what I will do. I would research for a little while. And then I stumbled across something on an official website that, in the recent wake of things happening with the diddler, has me questioning a lot of things. I took a screen recording of me showing the link, clicking the link, and the document opening so you guys would know I'm not bamboozling. And so you guys can take a screen grab of the link, throw it up into your own URL bars, and see the document for yourself if you wanted to. 100% transparency here, like always. But look at this. So here we have that official link I was talking about. Going to click it. Boop. Look at this. Again, this was on an official site. You saw the link that I clicked. It is a 295-page document that has been available to the public for years now, just hidden in an archive of nonsense. I know some of you are going to be afraid to throw that link in your browser. I promise it will not cause a virus. It is an official government-funded website. However, for those of you that still don't believe me, it's okay because I got the list of the trees that made up this forest. Keep in mind, this document names hundreds of trees. However, the trees that I will be going over today are going to be the trees that have the most history behind them, according to the document. Starting off strong, we have ash. Next up is elm, juniper, willow, maple, oak, persimmon, plum, eucalyptus, redwood, weeping willow, apple, cherry, orange, rosewood, birch, and finally peach. Guys, at this point, I'm fucking exhausted. I have no idea what to do with this information. Okay, you can't laugh at me for asking this because everybody's thinking it and I'm just the one dumb enough to say it. The underwater tests that we've been having, are those tests in the light of finding out that there are other beings that live in the ocean that are smarter than us, more advanced than us, and have been longer here than us? The underwater tests don't make fucking sense. And we're gonna talk about it right fucking now. Small panic. So when I talk about these tests, we've tested damn near everything in the ocean, from different kind of bombs, all the way to seismic and vibrational defense systems. Why? We all inherently assumed the reason why was to keep everybody safe on land and to have a controlled testing ground in the water that would not affect any living life besides maybe a few fish and bacteria. That doesn't seem plausible anymore. That does not seem like the most likely scenario. What does seem like the most likely scenario is that humans are aggressive and they shoot first and ask questions later. That humans are aggressive and will protect their territory even if nobody's really coming to get it. Humans are aggressive. They are territorial. We are essentially the rabid dog of the life spectrum. So what were we actually doing in the water? Were we even doing anything? Or was it them firing off warning shots? I have so many questions, and I don't think I will ever get a fucking answer, ever. The Mike Tyson fight has put some cynical thoughts in my head, so we're gonna talk about it right fucking now. Small panic. So, formal disclosure, this isn't about the Mike Tyson video, but Mike Tyson is what got me thinking about it. If I had $20 million on the fucking line, you can bet your ass that I would be on my best fucking behavior. And the way that I would be on my best fucking behavior is I would write out a fucking script. I've seen the shit going around online. I think it is absolutely plausible. I don't really give a shit if it's real or not. It makes fucking sense. But after seeing the script, it got me fucking thinking. What if you had more than $20 million on the line? Granted, for Jake Paul, there was more than $20 million on the line. He made 40 after he won. And if you paid attention to Jake Paul, against your will or otherwise over the years, you would know that he had been trying to break into UFC, MMA, different areas of fighting for a very long time. He just was too impatient to do it the right way, so he decided to do it the fast way with Mike Tyson, his brother as well, and that is why they had him say the shit at the end that he said. Now, they both can go from making YouTube videos to fighting. Do you see the plot there? Yeah, and we all fell for it. But again, I digress. What if you had more than $40 million on the fucking line? What if you had, let's say, $100 million on the line, including a full retirement plan? Would you not be on your best fucking behavior? Everybody's thinking it, and I'm dumb enough to say it, so I'm just gonna fucking say it. Is politics scripted? Hear me out. The best way to distract a group of people is to divide a group of people. And while they bicker and fight amongst themselves, you get shit done behind the scenes. Look at politics from a broader perspective. Is that not all it fucking is? I am not saying it is a distraction. I'm saying it's fucking busy work. Leading off of that, what if we weren't even the ones to set the political parameters in place for our country? What if no country set the political parameters in place for their country? What if everybody got the same basic parameters and were told to build off of that? The UFO disclosure from Congress stated last week that these things lived in the ocean, they were here before us, they're way older than us, and they're way more advanced, and that they have helped us out in pretty much every avenue of human life, not just scientific. What if they were the ones to give us the parameters, and the rest of this is just a distraction? Busy work, so they can move silently behind the fucking scenes. I don't know. I know I'm probably just talking out my fucking ass, and I apologize. But I'll be damned if it does not feel like some fuckery is fucking afoot. What the hell is going on?